guys ride the train a lot? I don't. I usually drive, but I didn't want to spring for winter tires this year. It's so expensive. It's like $150. For a rubber circle. What's that about? You know? Okay. Remember that scene from Bambi where he's slipping around on the frozen pond? Not as cute when it's me and my 1997 Honda Civic on the 401. Nothing? Anyone? Okay, I tried. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to be riding the train at 7 o'clock on Christmas Eve. Look at their faces. It's like they're at the dentist. I have nothing against dentists. You look like one. It's just, no one's excited to go to the dentist. Unless he's hilarious. And I've never met a funny one. Or your dental hygienist is super cute. I had a pretty one once, but I don't think it would have worked out. No successful first date ever started with, so do your gums still bleed when you floss? The answer is no, by the way, because I do not floss. What am I supposed to... right, these people. Should be any minute now.
Attention subway passengers, we are currently experiencing delays due to the weather. We will update you as soon as we have new information. Thank you.
No!
Come on! This is ridiculous. These trains, they spend more time standing still than they do moving.
Yeah. Do you ride the train a lot? Now you should drive. I want to spring for winter tires this year.
I tell you this much. I'm taking cabs from now on.
You got somewhere to be?
No, I just like riding the train.
It's not so bad. I mean, it's kind of like having your own private chauffeur. Except you never see him. He's constantly late. Okay, so where are you headed?
The guys at the office, they decided it'd be a good idea to have one of those boring old holiday parties.
Why'd you say it like that?
Because it's going to be boring and old.
No, why didn't you call it a Christmas party?
What's the difference?
Because it's Christmas Eve, not Holiday Eve?
Well, call it whatever you want. The only reason I'm going is because I'm retiring in January, and the guy said, hey, you should come to the last Christmas party. So I'm going, and I'll shake a few hands. I'll probably smile for the camera, and I'll drink some eggnog, and I'll eat some cookies. Probably one of each, just so I don't offend anybody. And then I'm going home in a cab.
Gotta be honest with you, you don't sound too excited about this party.
I'm not.
Could be worse. Oh? You could be riding on a donkey.
What? What's that got to do with anything?
Because on the original Christmas Eve, when the Mary she was on it, the donkey, riding it through the desert at night, and when they got to Bethlehem, there was no room in the inn. I'm just saying, you got it pretty good by Bethlehem standards.
I don't see it that way.
Well, you don't have to go to this party. You could just stay at home, drink a bunch of tea, fall asleep on the futon, watching It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, I've got nothing else to do.
Tomorrow my church is having a Christmas service. You should come.
No. You know what? I don't have the room in my schedule for something like this.
trust Him, the sinful man. You made our hearts your home to make your glory known, your redemption.
Hold your applause. Would you like to hear another?
Sorry, what?
Another Christmas song. Want to hear another?
Oh, no.
How about something bluesy?
No. Thank you. Look, sorry. The store I work at has been playing Christmas music since like the beginning of November, so I think I'd be fine if I never heard another Christmas story again.
Oh. Yeah. No. I've never been much of a performer anyways. Although, when I was 8 years old, I was in my church's Christmas pageant. I was the cow in the manger scene. good part. I was the understudy for Joseph, but he never missed one performance. I got very good at mooing, though. Don't mean to brag. So you're on your way home from work?
What?
You're wearing a name tag. Are you on your way home from work?
Oh, no, on my way to work, actually.
How late does the store stay open on Christmas Eve?
Well, I just left the store, but I work a late shift downtown at a hotel, so.
Oh, well, hopefully this train starts moving soon.
Hopefully, I really cannot be late again.
Do you at least get Christmas Day off?
Well, I mean, they offered it to me, but I get double overtime if I take the shift.
Oh. Well, you should try to see your family if you can, you know, maybe eat some pie.
Yeah. No, my family's not here. Hoping to go home next year to see them if I can save for the flight. That's why I took this job at the store, why I took the second job at the hotel. I mean, now I'm gonna be late for like the 5th time. I don't know. That's all I have. It's how I send money back home every month, save some for school. I just really hope I can get this plane ticket. Are you on your way home?
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah. Maybe it's none of my business, but I really wish there was something I could do to help.
There's nothing you can do.
If you like, I can pray for you.
Look, I said there's nothing you can do.
There was a moment, every heart needs a rescue. There was a season, every soul needs a breakthrough, help from heaven. We all need help from heaven. There is a whisper, a voice of hope inside you. There is an answer, a name above to guide you, help from heaven. We all need help from heaven. Help from heaven. Still believe, oh, when the sea of night surrounds us and our questions try to drown us. Just believe in help from heaven. Help from heaven. There is a reason. Our tears have not been wasted. There is a reason. For all these broken pieces, look to heaven. All we need is help from heaven. Help from heaven. When the road ahead is heated and we need a new beginning, when the battle's closing in, still believe. Oh, when we step into the promise and the hands of grace that holds us, just believe in help from heaven. Help from heaven.
Excuse me. I'm taking donations for local shelters.
All right, thank you.
Come on. Think I heard some coins jingling around in those velvet-lined pockets of yours.
There you go.
A nickel. Behold, a nickel. Sir, that's only 5 cents. What can we buy with that? An onion? Half an avocado? Come on, we're trying to feed people here. It's Christmas. You know, feed the hungry, clothe the needy, shelter the homeless. I don't know if you've read the Bible, but it says that we're...
Wait, hold on. I have a Bible. I go to church.
Okay.
You can spare me the Subway sermon.
Well, then you know Christmas is the best time of year to give.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yes, Christmas is definitely the best time to give, but you don't need to lecture me on giving. I give more than anyone else. Trust me. I am no stranger to charity. I've mastered Christmas. Every year, I write 10 checks to 10 different charities. 10. And this year is no different. I can show you my bank statement if you like. In addition to that, I also give 10% to my local church. So that's 10% here, 10 checks here, 10 and 10. Actually, I'm right now, I'm kind of responding to a thank you email of a donation I recently made of $10,000, and would you like to see it?
That's okay, thank you.
Look, you don't need to tell me on the importance of giving. I've got it all covered. Yeah.
Okay. So you've read the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Yep.
It's super good. Super.
Mhm.
It's dense, long, but it's good. That's why they call it the good book, not the long book. It's the good one. Good book.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yes,
read
it's yes, it's
Yeah.
a very good book, and it has a lot of great values. But I think that some people take it literally, just too literally. But nonetheless, yeah, it has a lot of good things in there.
Why wouldn't they take it literally? I mean, it's all real.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could say it's open to interpretation.
Thank you for the nickel.
Sure.
Frozen statues in the cold, washed in moonlight, blue and gold. Mary's babe in plastic hay, quiet wonder on her face. Mary, you look so serene, far too pretty, much too clean. We might think we know you well, but what stories would you tell of all the dirt and dust and shame, every burning labor pain? And as I turn to walk away, I hear you say, I am real. Don't turn me into memory or myth. Let me be real. And I'll show you what it means to love like this. to be real. Shepherds bending to the ground, Bethlehem is safe and sound. Joseph, you look brave and true. Do we know what it was like to be you? How many sleepless nights awake found you desperate and afraid. And as I turn to walk away, I hear you say, I am real. Don't turn me into memory or myth. Let me be real, real. And I'll show you what it means to love like this. To love like you don't even care about the hurry and the hustle. Like you are unaware December comes with so much trouble. 'Cause you believe a baby came, not in paintings or in plays, but every minute, every hour, every day. To be real, real. You are real. Show us what it means to love like this. To be real. To be real. More than a memory. More than a story. Real.
There is no doubt that Jesus is real tonight. In fact, I think that one of the reasons why we love Christmas so much is because we could just stop and pause all the busyness of life because we're searching for just a little bit of rest from the grind of life. But let's face it, once the gifts are unwrapped and the celebrations are over, we're all heading back to the grind, aren't we? And life goes on. And if we're all serious here and honest here tonight, we probably confess that life sometimes seems a little dark. In fact, there might be some areas in our lives, including mine, where it's dark. I'm here to tell you tonight that Jesus is the light of the world. That Jesus desires to actually not just be the light of the world, but he wants to be your light. He wants to take you out of the darkness. You see, when there is light, darkness has to leave. When we think about our actors here tonight, let's start with Harry. Harry is the gentleman who is sitting here reading his magazine through the entire time. In many ways, Harry lives in this dark room of emptiness. I mean, in many ways, Harry represents that dark room of being alone and empty. I mean, when I think about some of the words he said to us tonight, I was intrigued by them. In one sense, he says, I don't have any room in my schedule to come to your church, to worship who? But yet, all at the same time, he utters the words, I don't have anywhere else to go. There seems to be a contradiction.
His life is so full of stuff, yet he has nowhere to go. You see, life can sometimes be so full of stuff and work and busyness and accomplishments and ups and downs, and our schedules are full, but yet sometimes amidst all the hurry, our hearts seem empty. We seem isolated. We seem lonely. There seems to be something in us that's missing. You see, isn't it ironic that his schedule is full, yet he has nowhere else to go on Christmas Eve but this work party that he doesn't even really want to go to? Maybe many of us can relate with Harry tonight. We've filled our lives with stuff to do, lots of stuff to do, yet at the end of the day, there still seems to be a void in our hearts, a void, a lack in our lives. You see, Harry has worked all of his life for this very moment of retirement. I mean, part of the celebration, it's his send-off, yet he doesn't seem to be so excited. It's kind of sad, don't you think? After a full life of doing stuff, he should be elated, yet there seems to be this sense of hopelessness in Harry's heart. I guess the fact is, when we all reach retirement, or our companies or organizations, well, they'll replace us and we'll soon be forgotten. We'll be confronted with the question, an important one. What is and what was life all about? What's the point of all this? What's the point of our busy schedules? What's the purpose of all this work? What's the purpose of all this busyness? Is it all meaningless? This is it? Friend, I'm here to tell you that you can walk out of that room of emptiness and into the light that Jesus has to offer to you tonight. You see, make room. Make room for Jesus in your life amidst all the busyness, and he will add meaning to your life. He'll add meaning to your world. In fact, this Christmas, you can come out of that dark room of emptiness and into the light of Jesus. In fact, it was Jesus who said this. He said, I have come that you may have life and have it to the full. I have come to give you life, and not just any ordinary life, but life to the fullest. I don't know about you, but I want some of that, because I have found and discovered that no matter how busy I can be, and my schedule be as full as it can be, and I can accomplish great things, I have found that without Jesus, I still have this emptiness in my heart. You know why? Because there's a part of you that can only be fulfilled by Jesus. And he wants to walk into that dark room of emptiness and light it up for you. In fact, he wants to give you life, and not just any ordinary life, but life to the fullest. So today, I encourage you, come out of the dark room of emptiness and walk into the life-giving light of Christ this Christmas. I was really burdened for Martha, the young lady. In many ways, she lives in this dark room of responsibility. Martha represents those of us in the room who are weighed down with responsibilities. And maybe you've walked in here and you know exactly how Martha feels. Maybe you're a new Canadian. And maybe you decided, man, we're going to go to Canada for a new start so that my kids can have a bright future. And you are working, and you're working so diligently. You're working multiple jobs, and you're saving money. And you know what it's like to send money back home so that your family could be taken care of. And you're balancing life, but you are tired. You're weary. Weighted down by responsibilities. Let's face it, we all have responsibilities. Responsibilities related to our marriages, responsibilities related to our children, responsibilities maybe to our elderly parents, responsibilities to our careers, responsibilities related to our volunteer work for students, responsibilities related to papers and exams and getting certain grades, responsibilities. Boy, they can weigh us down. And Martha knew what that was like. Many of us know what it feels like to move from one responsibility to yet another responsibility to yet another responsibility. It's tiring, isn't it? It could be so burdensome. And maybe some of you, as much as you want to celebrate and you're so grateful for the pause in the schedule around Christmas, you're feeling weary and tired. And that weight of responsibilities can sometimes actually cause our lives to crack physically, emotionally, spiritually. Because our bodies, for instance, physically, aren't meant to go that fast for that long a time. You can't live on the high red line and RPM of your life. And eventually, high blood pressure becomes a problem, and some other physical ailments begin to hinder us. And sometimes our emotions can crack amidst the weight of responsibility. Mental health issues are rampant because we're carrying weights of responsibilities. And some of us, sometimes we wish we just could stay in bed and not come out for a really long time. And it's kind of weird because it wasn't like that before. You actually used to love being with people. And for whatever reason, the weight of responsibilities has emotionally weighed you down. And spiritually, of course, has consequences. We don't have time to worship. We don't have time to gather in places like this. And our hearts and souls, they've kind of shriveled up. But friend, I'm here to tell you something. That there is help from heaven. There is help from heaven tonight. Your help comes from Christ. That's why he came to be born to a virgin. The whole point is that he came to save us from the weight of responsibilities. In fact, Jesus said these words. He said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Who wants some of that? Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. Why? For Jesus said, I am gentle and I'm humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For those of us who carry that weight of responsibility, my prayer for you in the Christmas season is that you would go to Jesus, come to Jesus, and he will give you the rest you're looking for. Come out of the dark room of responsibility and walk into the restful arms of Christ this Christmas. I think of Phil, the gentleman who's on the edge here on his iPhone, and in many ways, Phil lives in this dark room of religion. Perhaps this evening you can kind of relate with Phil, and he lives in this dark room of religion. You might be here for the first time, you're thinking, what are you saying? You're a pastor. Isn't this about religion? No, we're not about a religion. We're about a relationship. A relationship with a vibrant and living Savior, and his name is Jesus. Religion is something else. As he said, Phil, in his lines, he said, I have a Bible. I go to church. I give 10% here, 10% there. I've kind of marked all the religious boxes. Let's be honest. The room of religion can sometimes be dark and dingy. Trying to pretend and live up to a squeaky clean life can sometimes be daunting, can't it? Put on the religious mask and say, hey, it's all good. Especially when you know deep down in your heart there are some dark thoughts that have been exposed through some dark actions and reactions in our lives. We all have them, including myself. You see, let me remind you that Jesus is real, as the song was sung. He's real, friend, and he desires an authentic relationship with you. He's not a dead statue to pay homage to. Rather, he's the vibrant, full of life Savior of the universe, and he just doesn't want to be the Savior of the universe. He wants to be your personal Savior. I think sometimes we forget. We've made the manger scene, the birth of Jesus scene, to be so domesticated. But the reality is, don't forget that the setting of our Master's birth was messy. It was in a stable. He was laid in a manger, in a feeding trough. It was messy, it was dirty, it was dusty, it was smelly, it was painful. That's the environment that Jesus, the King of the universe, was born into. Do you ever reflect on that? Why did he choose to come in that fashion? See, you don't need to come to Jesus pretending. You simply need to come to Jesus surrendering. You don't need to try to pretend behind the mask of religion and mark off all your boxes. No, friend, God knows your heart. And sometimes our hearts, let's face it, are messy and dirty, and there's a whole lot of things going on. Jesus knows. You know what? Jesus is all about walking into the messes of our hearts and lives and redeeming them. He's about walking into those dark areas and lighting them up. He loves you just the way you are, but he loves you too much to keep you that way. He wants to come and transform you. That's why I love the words of the psalmist David. David was one of the writers in the book of Psalm. And he was in the midst of some of his greatest failures in his life. And he pens these words. He says, "My sacrifice, O God, is a broken spirit and a broken and contrite heart. You, God, will not despise." You see, you don't have to pretend with Jesus. We just have to surrender. We have to say, hey, this is kind of messy, and life's kind of messy, and I made some choices that I wish I could take back, but I can't. And Jesus walks into our mess, and he redeems us, and he strengthens us. He brings light where there's darkness. So, come out of the dark room of religion and walk into the ever-vibrant light of Christ. And so this morning, or this evening, rather, we want to conclude this gathering with a candlelight ceremony. I'm going to call our candlelighters up to the front. And the whole point to this is that this would be an object lesson of what Jesus can do in your life. He can walk into your world. He can walk into your dark room. And maybe it's the dark room of emptiness. Maybe it's the dark room of responsibility. Or maybe it's the dark room of religion. Jesus wants to walk in to your life and light your life up so that darkness is overcome. You see, in just a few moments, we're going to sing the beautiful song, Silent Night. And together we're going to do it, and we're going to light up our candles. But may these candles be symbols of what Christ will do in your heart this Christmas. My prayer is this, that may the darkened areas of your hearts be lit up this Christmas with the light of the world. We begin by lighting the Christ candle tonight. It all starts with Christ, it continues with Christ, and it ends with Christ. You know why? Because Jesus said this, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." Friend, the greatest gift I can offer you tonight is that you would say yes to Jesus and let him light up your world. You won't regret it. It'll be a turning point to your life. And so as the worship team leads us in Silent Night, would you stand with me at this moment?